Alright, this is Banksy, Britain's untouchable criminal. I am Aubrey Love. Subscribe to my channel. This, you know what I mean? I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs, and I would appreciate it if y'all subscribe to my channel. Y'all, you know what I mean? We get views, but nobody's subscribing. So let's watch it, though. Let's make sure. Let's see what we got going on. Shout out to Brandon FM.
Let's start with a simple question.
So for people who don't know, who is Banksy?
Besides the most famous, notorious, captivating, and controversial artist alive. If you asked me that question a couple of months ago, I would have thrown anonymity into that long list as well. But unfortunately, times change.
But now, a series of court cases, including one launched this week in Australia, could change everything.
You see, for a long time, over 3 decades in fact, no one knew who Banksy was. No one knew a name or a face. The man was like a ghost.
Hey man, he like Dream. No face, no case.
It's one of the main factors that made him so successful. And even he'd admit that.
If people knew who he was, his artworks probably wouldn't be worth as much.
Works by the mystery street artist Banksy sell for tens of millions of dollars, boosted by speculation about his identity.
Both to give him the freedom to do what he wants to do and the freedom not to have to do things like this.
Like what?
Like this, be on the radio, do press.
Being an anonymous graffiti artist doesn't just help you stay out of jail, it also helps you become infamous. And it turns out, people quite like a guy breaking the law when he's got no face. It also turns out that people like incredible art. Some would debate the latter, but it doesn't really matter what they think.
A lot of Banksy, a lot of street art is just so kitschy, so silly, so, in a way, just dumb.
Let's go back to the simple question of, who is Banksy? And I say simple because it used to be the opposite, until countless British journalists started painting his real identity on every blank wall for a few extra clicks. Pest Control Limited, aka Banksy's company, has been accused of defamation and is now being called to court.
We've so far had
So we got artists who is Banksy, graffiti artist, because I didn't know, man. I'm not acting like I'm always in tune with stuff that's going on. So now we know he's a graffiti artist. Now I don't follow the arts like that like crazy. So this is somewhat like something new to me. But let me know if y'all was already hip.
decisions out of the 7 that we started. All 6 of those were wins, complete wins, with costs against Banksy. Banksy's yet to pay those costs. We might even take action to bankrupt him.
The first legal defendant listed on the documents is a man named aka Banksy. This is the first time any legitimate connection has been made between the two, leading many people to believe that they are one and the same, especially given loose ties to the alias all the way back in 2008.
Oh, subscribe to my channel, man. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs. I would appreciate it so much because I watch these ads over and over.
So, who is Banksy? The most famous artist alive that has remained anonymous for so many years. Who is this man? Well, it's but if that's where this video ended, I wouldn't be making it. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Private Internet Access.
He got a sponsor. I ain't got no sponsor, y'all. I don't even got 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna keep begging for him until I get him. But yeah, anyway.
So why not download Private? Usually,
back to the usual.
Criminals who are most notorious are the easiest to catch. Usually.
The graffiti artist known as Banksy is setting his sights on New York. He plans to spend the rest of the month making the city his canvas.
October 1st, 2013, midnight. Away from home, Banksy planned to terrorize the streets of the Big Apple for an entire month, creating a new piece of art every 24 hours. Illegally, of course.
It's cool. You leave your city, you're like, I'm gonna go to America. I'm gonna go to London. I'm gonna go to South Africa. I'm gonna go to Brazil, and I'm gonna break the law for art. That's some bold stuff, man.
Night 1. Fittingly, Banksy starts his escapade by painting 2 kids grabbing a spray paint can out of a sign that reads, "Graffiti is a crime." Once this piece was confirmed to be by the man himself, all hell broke loose. citizens of New York started going block to block just to find his next piece of work, and the NYPD would begin to run around like headless chickens trying to catch Banksy in the act.
To be honest, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because the thing is they're here and then they're gone.
Night 5. Banksy creates a scenic jungle environment in the back of a dirty abandoned white truck. He dubbed it the Mobile Waterfall. Night 9. Things took a slightly more serious turn. Tucked away on 159 Ludlow Street, a car was repurposed to paint a commentary on the 2007 Iraq conflict, accompanied by WikiLeaks audio of US soldiers killing innocent civilians and 2 journalists in the crossfire of war.
Hey, this art is crazy though. I'm gonna let y'all know, like, the amount of detail in these for y'all artists who be drawing and writing. I got some more respect for that because they take hours on hours on hours on hours of time to get like perfect. There's this guy that I work at an airport. He's a security. He's always drawing, and his drawings are so amazing. But he sits there all day and like draws. So you know what I mean. Shout out to y'all because I have yet to sit down and put in hours on hours on hours to perfect a craft. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for that, and I appreciate this Banksy, who I've never seen, never understood, or never like heard of until this video, for going day on day on day on day on day and just creating new art. That's cool, man. Like, shout out to him. Even though it's illegal, it's still lit.
Brass to drop ramps. I got a wounded girl. We didn't take the rest of mine.
Oh, it's their fault for bringing their kids to a battle. That's right.
Night 11. Banksy let loose a stuffed animal slaughterhouse delivery truck that toured the meatpacking district for the following 2 weeks. The YouTube video that accompanied the stunt was aptly titled Sirens of the Lambs. Night 13. A stall was set up in Central Park, managed by an old man. The only thing for sale was 100% original signed Banksy canvases for $60 each, meaning countless people passed up on $60 art that now sells for hundreds of thousands.
Dang. Imagine having a day where you're like, and you're like one of those niche people who got art in their house, and you got some cool pieces, and you're like, man, I remember when I was in New York one day and I passed that $60 Banksy. Oh man, bro, and I got that $100,000 piece in the crib. And then you got the people who are like, man, I can't believe I passed on it, bro. I can't believe, man, I could have came up. Like, you know, that's for those who hit. Shout out to y'all. And for those who did it, wow, can't believe you passed it. I also wonder how long it took him to plan out what he was gonna do. Like, is it really a day-to-day thing, or did he take, like, when he was in his home city, he took some time to plan all this out?
Night 31. On the final day, Banksy recreated his bubble tag with real balloons near an exit sign, signifying his departure from New York. A perfect way to end his vacation and a successful NYPD escape.
Some illegal shit going on here. We're like, yo, dude, we're gonna get this project's gonna get busted. Like, get people away from there. Get the nuts out of there. Yo.
Before Banksy would shred the very painting he sold for millions in front of everyone's eyes. Before Banksy would create the iconic bulletproof vest for Stormzy's Glastonbury set, he would start spray painting the dull walls of his hometown Bristol, going by the name Slick. One night, while hiding from police under a garbage truck, he noticed that there were stenciled numbers on the vehicle's bumper. And that's when he had the realization that stencils might be the answer to his biggest problem. The time between starting and finishing a piece of graffiti was far too long, which in turn created a lot of risk. But stencils would allow to make bigger pieces quicker, faster, and make him virtually uncatchable. Plus, no one else was doing it. It was a practical decision that resulted in a unique aesthetic, which would adopt under his new name, Banksy.
No, that's a good piece of background information. That's so cool. So even that, like, he was underneath a garbage truck, getting the garbage juices all over him, and he saw a stencil and was like, "Oh man!" Boom, light bulb. Man, that's genius.
You can't do that here.
It's to take pictures.
Right, not here, not that. No, that's graffiti.
That's not graffiti. No, but that's not graffiti.
Then remove it.
That's,
you guys
that's
gotta
an
go.
art. That's an art.
You guys need to go.
Banksy had started to gain quite a reputation, and in spring of 2006, the artist flew to LA where he would meet a man named Terry, a man who had dedicated his life to documenting some of the world's biggest street artists.
He was like more than any drugs to anybody. He was obsession.
And now, Terry was a man who had the opportunity to show Banksy the best spots to hit in LA.
I was in downtown Los Angeles one day. My phone rings. Hello, this is Shepard Ferry. How you doing, Terry? Yeah, do you have any wall? Because I have Banksy here and I would like, and I said, what? You have who? I'm like, yeah, there is Banksy here. And I'm like, where are you? I drive you if you need to go anywhere. I'm not doing anything. And anytime.
Terry made himself indispensable to Banksy, and in return, Banksy let Terry document his process for the foreseeable future, even in his escapades back in England.
I always avoided cameras because what I do is in a bit of a legal grey area, but I brought Terry over to London because it seemed like a good idea to start videoing the work. I mean, we had to because, you know, a lot of it was starting to disappear the next day.
I first started to hear about Banksy when I was a little kid. Since half of my family grew up and still lives in Banksy's hometown Bristol, I became aware of his antics fairly quickly. I thought his artwork was great.
No, all of his artwork is super cool. I'm not gonna lie. I told you I'm down for the art. I'm down for the art, man. If you're an artist and you watch this, man, comment underneath your Instagram or something. I'll check it out, man. I love the art.
But I didn't fall in love with what he was doing through his graffiti. I fell in love with what he was doing through his documentary, Exit Through the Gift Shop. After numerous months of Terry following Banksy around, it was finally time to convert those countless boxes of tapes into the documentary Terry envisioned all those years ago. 6 months later, Terry presented Banksy with a 1 hour and 30-minute movie he called Life Remote Control.
Peace to the whole world.
You have to keep an eye on the big picture.
I told him I'd never seen anything like it, and I wasn't lying about that. Yeah, I was faced with that terrible thing when somebody shows you their work and everything about it is shit, so you don't really know where to start.
He's like, it's good, you know? It's good, you know, it's good.
So basically, he was like, "Oh, this trash. Let me help you out."
You don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate.
It turns out that Terry wasn't really a filmmaker, but instead just a guy with a camera who happened to know a lot of street artists. After Banksy convinced Terry to leave the tapes with him in hopes of creating the street art documentary he dreamed of, Exit Through the Gift Shop started production. Terry went off to become a successful artist himself, going by the name Mr. Brainwash, and Banksy made the early decision to flip the script. Instead of making himself and his peers the main subjects of the documentary, he opted to make Terry's journey through the underground world of graffiti the main focus. One of the smartest decisions I've ever seen made in a doc.
Well, the film is the story of what happened when this guy tried to make a documentary about me, but he was actually a lot more interesting than I am, so now the film is kind of about him. I mean, it's not Gone with the Wind, but there's probably a moral in there somewhere.
From when I was a kid to today, this has always remained my favourite documentary ever created. I've watched it countless times and it's really what made me fall in love with how Banksy approaches art. Despite the documentary being about Terry, I ended up finishing the documentary more interested in Banksy than anything else. This is just one example of Banksy's intentions working against him. Most art critics hate him, which is why most normal people like him. Yet despite his criticism of the modern art world, unfortunately, most normal people can't afford a $500,000 spray painted wall. The more Banksy attempts to criticize the establishment, the more they profit. But what's the alternative?
I'm not gonna lie, this is a great like spiel we're watching. Like all the visuals are amazing. Dude is really storytelling for us. This is a really good video, bro.
I know bleeping out Banksy's real name isn't going to deter anyone from finding it out after they click off this video. Much like a lot of Banksy's work, this video might have the opposite effects than intended. By shredding the painting, I might have unintentionally created more appeal, despite my intentions being pure. So, I guess I'll end with the same question we started with. Who is Banksy? Banksy is a guy from Bristol, England, who pulled off some of the most impressive and captivating street art all around the world for decades. From huge political murals to fully functional hotels, there seems to be no limit to what he can execute. In the process of creating spectacles, he became the most famous living artist alive, or maybe the least famous, depending on how you see things. He made the best documentary I've ever seen, and is a genius in every sense of the word. Banksy is not Banksy is Banksy, a man who once said, "Imagine a city where graffiti wasn't illegal. A city where everybody could draw whatever they liked. Where every street was awash with a million colours and little phrases. Where standing at a bus stop was never boring. A city that felt like a party where everyone was invited, not just the estate agents and barons of big business. Imagine a city like that, and then stop leaning against the wall. It's wet."
I think it's the end of that, man. That was a good, like a really good short little doc on Banksy, man. I didn't know who it was. Shout out to Brandon that film, because that was like beautifully put together. And you know, I'm not into the art scene. I love art. I love seeing stuff. I think art is cool, but like him being able to describe what Banksy does, showing us going down his path and all of his art's going on. I thought that was really cool. I wish I could make videos like this, man. I wish I could make cool docs or whatever. But let me know what y'all thought down below. If you were hip on Banksy, let me know. If you're an artist, bro, drop your Instagram. I'd love to see your stuff. But until next time, I am Aubrey Love. Yeah.